Hello, my name is Madeline and welcome back to my channel, Cozy Cottage Chapters. I have a very fun book haul to share with you today. I spent the last week with my mom in Paris and we visited a lot of bookstores and I was treated to quite the stack of lovely books. It's a bit of an eclectic mix between new books and used books, and we spent a week in Paris. It was lovely. I had a wonderful time. And we visited 4 or 5 bookstores around the city, some that I had visited when I was living in Paris and some were new to me, so it was fun to discover some new bookstores. Paris is a fun city to bookshop in because each of the stores had such a different and unique kind of feel and personality to it. There was one that was just completely packed with books, floor to ceiling, piles of books on the floor in shopping bags. It was a bit chaotic and like the passageways in between bookshelves were so thin that I had to like turn sideways and like scoop my way through. And to get to the bottom level of books, I was literally like lying on the ground peering at books. So it was a bit of a unique experience, and yeah, I had a lot of fun visiting these bookstores. So without further ado, let's get into the books. First up, the first bookstore that I visited was Shakespeare and Company, and if you're not familiar, it is a very famous bookstore in Paris. Partially, I think because of its history, especially with famous writers like Hemingway, Sylvia Plath, James Joyce. The original founder of Shakespeare and Company, what's her name? Sylvia Beach? I'm blanking, but she was friends with all of these writers and really helped them, lent them money, published their works and things like that. So it has a really cool kind of history and it's a very fun shop to walk around. But unfortunately, it has become so popular that the line outside the store just to get in was so long, and there was no way that we would be able to wait in that line with a toddler and still get to browse for books. So I did not get to go into the main store, but next door they had opened up a used bookstore, and it's very small, just kind of this one tiny little room. But I was able to find some books there, and I got 2 books by D.E. Stevenson. The first is Anna and Her Daughters. I love these very vintage covers. So I haven't read anything by D.E. Stevenson, but I'm really excited to give her a chance. I think she's going to be an author that I really enjoy. So the back of this one says, Anna Harcourt and her 3 daughters are left almost destitute by the sudden death of Gerald Harcourt. Forced to turn their backs on the gay London life, they move to Scotland, where Anna finds happiness among her childhood friends. Her daughters seem to be settling down to their new life too, until Jane meets Ronnie. Ronnie appears to find all the Harcourts attractive, but he can only marry one. ... Okay, this sounds fun. I'm excited about a setting in Scotland, and yeah, this looks very cozy and lovely. So I'm happy that I found that. I got another D.E. Stevenson, Sarah's Cottage, and again, the covers of these are just so vintage and fabulous. I love them. So this one on the back says, I felt Charles's arm around my shoulders and his voice whispering softly in my ear. I had to come back quickly, he said. I thought of our little house waiting for me, a house without a history. We shall make a history of our house. I thought of our cottage as a clean page upon which we would write its history. It was our responsibility to make it a history of love and happiness. Okay, that doesn't give too much away about this book, but I'm really excited. Like I said, I haven't read any D.E. Stevenson, and her books are kind of expensive to buy new here in France, so I'm excited that I found some secondhand copies to give a try. All right, next up, there are 2 bookstores that are kind of sister stores connected. The first being the Red Balloon, which is a bilingual children's bookstore, and they had the loveliest books. They had picture books, board books, middle grade books, and I didn't get to spend much time browsing the picture book section. because I really enjoyed looking at all of the different middle grade books. They had quite a lovely collection of things. And I picked up Moominvalley in November because I thought this would be the perfect fallish kind of read to pick up next month. We're almost in November. And I don't know very much, honestly, about the Moomins. I have little Moomin figurines that my grandmother gave me when she visited Finland because we have Finnish ancestry. And so I have the figurines, but I don't really know their names or the story or much about it at all. I know the Moomin books are a series. I don't know how many there are, and I believe this is somewhere probably in the middle of the series, so I'm gonna have to do some digging to figure out kind of the characters and what's going on maybe before I start this. But like I said, I'm so excited to pick this up soon, and I think it's just gonna be very cozy and lovely. The back says, winter is approaching and the Philly Junk, the Hemulin, Toft and the others have traveled far and wide to visit Moominvalley to see the Moomins. But when they arrive, they discover the Moomins are nowhere to be seen. As they settle in to wait for their return, they start to realize that not everything is as it appears. So excited for this. I feel like I've not been really excited about a lot of the books that I've been picking up, so I think this will kind of jumpstart my reading next month. And then I went next door to the adult section, which is the Red Wheelbarrow. Yes, that's right. And they had so many classic books, so many beautiful editions. They had the Penguin English Library, the Penguin Clothbounds. They even had some Persephone books, which I almost, I was tempted, but I didn't recognize any of those, and I was not really wanting to take a chance on a Persephone book. So I picked up some things that I have been just meaning to read forever and just haven't gotten around to. And the first being Brideshead Revisited by Evelyn Waugh. I don't know if I'm saying that right. But I've heard so many good things about this book. It's been on my radar for so long and I've been meaning to read it. And I love it in the Penguin English Library edition. I love these books. I love these editions so much. I think the font is great. They're very floppy and easy to read. I really enjoy them. The most nostalgic and reflective of Evelyn Waugh's novels, Brideshead Revisited looks back to the golden age before the Second World War. It tells the story of Charles Ryder's infatuation with the Marchmains and the rapidly disappearing world of privilege they inhabit. Enchanted first by Sebastian at Oxford, then by his doomed Catholic family, in particular his remote sister Julia, Charles comes finally to recognize only his spiritual and social distance from them. I've seen this book on so many lists of like the best Catholic novels to read, and so I'm eager to give this a try because some of the novels on those lists I've loved, some of them not so much, so I don't know, but I trust this. I know a lot of people who I really get along with their reading taste have enjoyed this, so I think I'll enjoy it as well. And then the last new book that I have is Wives and Daughters by Elizabeth Gaskell. This is a Victober inspired pick. I actually started listening to this on audio a year ago, last Victober, and, or no, actually 2 years ago for Victober. And I was in the early stages of pregnancy and eventually got so sick that I just could not continue listening to this. But I was really enjoying it. What I had gotten to, I hadn't gotten very far, a couple of chapters in. And so I felt like I need to have the physical book to pick up at some point. I don't think I'm going to start it yet because I'm working on getting through Dombey and Son by Dickens. So I don't really want to have two big books going at the same time, but I'm excited to read this. I think I will really enjoy it. The back says, with its lively depiction of a close-knit, gossiping community and its richly drawn female characters, Elizabeth Gaskell's last and finest novel is a warm, funny portrayal of human relationships. When 17-year-old Molly Gibson's widowed father remarries, her life is thrown off course by her vain, manipulative stepmother and enlivened by a glamorous new stepsister, Cynthia. Molly soon finds herself a go-between in Cynthia's romantic affairs, but in doing so risks losing her reputation and the man she secretly loves. This sounds super interesting. I'm really excited. I think I will adore this, and I have to save it for the perfect moment. All right, lastly, I got 2 books from San Francisco bookstore, something like that. This was one that I had visited before when I was a student in Paris, and it looks much more organized and put together than what I remembered. I remembered it being like a little bit chaotic, and it was much easier to get through this time. First up, I got The King's General by Daphne du Maurier in one of these lovely old penguin orange spine books. They are just so floppy and so lovely. I'm really excited to read this. One of the Daphne du Maurier's that I haven't read yet, and I'm working through her books pretty quickly, so I'm excited to give this a try soon. This is a bit different than her other books because it is historical fiction following the Civil War in Cornwall. Is that it? Anyways, I don't know too much about this except that I think it's pretty true to reality, true to history. So I think this will be interesting, and I'm kind of eager to see what Daphne du Maurier's writing is like in kind of this different genre. So pretty excited about this. And finally, I picked up the Mallory Towers bind up of the first 3 novels by Enid Blyton. I have been eager to read a little bit of Enid Blyton because I've just been in such a classic middle grade kind of mood, and I never read these books as a kid. I know they're incredibly popular in the UK. I don't think she was really popular in the US, at least I've never heard of her before, but I am eager to try this. These books take place in a girls' boarding school, and there are a number of books in the series, so if I enjoy this, I think it will be a nice book to continue on with. And since it was 3 books in one, I felt like I couldn't pass it up. All right, that is it for my book haul. I'm so excited to add these books to my collection and to get to read them. Let me know if I should prioritize any of these, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.